As an American, I fully understand where a lot of animosity towards undocumented populations and communities, I understand where that comes from. And I understand it because I model a very middle income life. And I am located in the San Francisco Bay Area, where middle income in other regions of the country is not what middle income is in the Bay Area. So as someone who is striving to live, I'm like lower middle income, okay? I'm not considered within socioeconomic status talk. I'm not considered low income. I'm considered lower middle income. Okay, so it's like I'm within that middle income range, but it's like to get to more middle, higher, stable. Do you know how much middle income is in the Bay Area? 160,000 was the average for the families that I saw in some data. And I just wanted to say that I understand where a lot of the animosity comes from towards immigrant communities, and the reason why is because I don't identify as being a part of the immigrant community. I don't have the same diaspora. And so I model very much an American lifestyle, right? A lot of American lifestyle is focused on individualism. It's focused on the American dream. It's focused on everything that basically feeds us that everything should be attainable to us in America, right? But the problem is, it's not that everything is not attainable to us. It's that we basically have people in political power who cater to the people who are already up there. So everybody right here, all the middle income Americans, a lot of the middle income Americans struggle. And it doesn't look like struggle in the traditional sense of the term, because we're not considered low income, right? We're not, we make too much to qualify for lower income benefits, right? So it's like we're not utilizing the system, we're not taking advantage of it, and it's like, well, we can't access that system because we're not considered low income, and we don't model low income lifestyle. So it looks like the average American within middle class range, whether it's lower or higher, it looks like the average American is, doing just fine, okay? But there are so many silent struggles that I experience as an American. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I realize and I see that Mexicans and Mexican communities, they model a completely different lifestyle than Americans do. So Americans are very, very individualistic, okay? Americans see every single thing as solely relative to whatever is in their nuclear family. Only whatever happens, all of that just stays in the family. All of that is within your own individual family, okay? Mexicans do something very, very different, okay? Especially Mexicans within undocumented communities. And what they do differently is that they lean on each other, okay? They have an incredibly strong ecosystem that they live within, right? Their Mexican communities are very, very tight-knit and very strong. And it's because they not only have resources for each other to succeed and help each other out, they help each other elevate also, right? So Americans, a lot of us, we view things as like, if I need something done, okay, sure, take it this way, take it here, have them handle it, right? And it's not to say that Americans are not self-doers ourselves, but I'm saying that we often tend to point to, okay, sure, I need labor done, I need labor performed. Go get Mexicans, go get undocumented people, go get people who can perform the labor for us. The labor force is greatly concentrated within the Mexican community, within these undocumented communities. So they are the labor force, okay? Not only are they the labor force, they have access to different channels that allow them to remain employed, right? If they need to try to grasp for higher income, whether it be getting us another job, whether it be trying to gain more income, more access to more options, they have those resources because they are available within their community, within their network. They network within each other. So what I'm saying is a lot of qualities that Mexicans possess, a lot of qualities that they model is because they are just collectivists, right? They collectively live together. They collectively know their neighbors. I had a neighbor, the last time I spoke to them was, I'm not kidding, in 2020, 5 years ago. Can you imagine how incredibly insane that is? And it's not that, Americans don't communicate with each other, right? We absolutely do. We communicate, share information, but everything with Americans is very much private. This is our family. This is our life. This is just solely for, like, it's very individualistic. It's very, very, very individualistic. So we may know our neighbors wave high, but actual Mexican communities, they lean on each other. And they lean on each other, and they create this very, very impressive network that keeps them within their ecosystem flowing very, very beautifully. And for Americans, we see that, and I can absolutely understand and see where Americans could see that and have a sense of envy, a sense of animosity. And it comes from the feeling of, hey, I should have that. I'm American. I should have that network already. I should have that community-based help. I should be able to get help. When eggs were like $10 for a carton of like the cheapest eggs, I should be able to. But it's like, we don't have the community networks. We don't have those talks, those conversations that literally keep us ahead and help us get ahead. We're extremely, extremely individualistic. And it's really, really sad. It's unfortunate because it's the undertone is that, Mexicans all pile up on top of each other. They all have big families. They all have, no, what they absolutely do is help each other out. Okay. And they just, all it is that they model a different lifestyle. And I think Americans see it, and they see it, and there's a lot of envy attached to it, because it's like, how are you ahead and stable, and like, how are you doing that in my country, right? The average American, I think, would say, who's struggling silently within middle income parameters, right? So it's really hard, and it's difficult because a lot of that, like, that should be mine. Like, I should have that comes out as, well, they're taking it. No, they're not taking it. Immigrants are not taking anything from Americans. If anything, they have just created a very strong network that helps them succeed, that helps them stay employed. The average American takes between 6 and 8 weeks, and that is average. I see some stories on here of finding employment. It's 6 to 8 weeks to gain another form of meaningful employment for that, can support them. Okay. Imagine if in the Mexican community, if someone were unemployed for whatever reason, they have such a strong network and communication system within each other. They help each other out. And so guess what? They all stay employed, okay? They all stay. And so it's like they don't skip a beat, right? Americans, we don't do that. We go through very traditional channels and we say, oh, well, we're not taking advantage of the system. Well, we can't access the system. We're not considered low income. We're not considered all these things. But that's not Mexican people's fault. That's not their fault at all. That's a system fault, right? That is something that we see, you know, if we want that for ourselves, we have to actually get to that point. But part of it, and a lot of it, is community-based, right? A lot of Americans don't do community-based work to help each other out. And I'm not talking about the people who are already up here who have access to, you know, oh, yeah, daddy can make a phone call and I'll just get a job. No, those people who are already up here, they keep themselves up here. Okay, they keep themselves up here and they're very tight-knit about it. But the average American who's like right here, just middle income, trying to make it, you guys, I know someone who is a CEO for a company within the Bay Area. They are struggling, okay? They have their own hardships, okay? And I'm not putting their business out there, but it's the absolute truth, okay? Being middle income in America is this defining factor that a lot of people see is, oh, you're not low income, you don't have, you know, you don't live in a low income neighborhood, you pay market-based rent, you don't have any type of actual help, so you're doing fine. No, a lot of Americans are struggling. So many Americans are struggling, but we struggle silently, and it's not Mexicans' fault, it's not immigrants' community's fault, it's because we don't have the network and we haven't built that. So we need to admire and take notes from immigrant communities rather than pointing the blame at them and saying, you're the reason I don't have a job, you're the reason. No, they just have a system that works for them. We don't. That's what it is. And you know what we do? We go and elect people who we think will do that. No, we need to do the work. That's what it is.